I'm Shelley Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to learn how to create tasks for projects inside of Worckie. I'm going to show you two different ways that you can create tasks inside of Worckie. So the first method is to go to the left-hand side menu and go to Projects, and then find the project that you want to work with. And there's a tiny icon at the bottom right-hand side of the project card. And if you hover over it, it says Kanban. If you click that, that's going to open the Kanban board, which is a Trello-like board. And this is where you can add your tasks. The default columns or statuses for this is planning, to do, doing, and ready. There are two statuses that you cannot remove, including planning and ready. You can rename them, but you cannot remove them. Now you can change the name of any of these, and you can actually add additional columns based on the statuses that you want for your tasks. To change the name of any of the columns, all you do is click the name of the column, and there's where you can actually edit the name of the column or the name of the status. So that's where you can go in and change all of the status names. You can add additional statuses by going over to the right-hand side, and there's a little bar over here. If you click that bar, it will allow you to add a new column or a new status. And now you have additional statuses you can add in, and there's no limit to the number of statuses that you can add. Now that you've got all the statuses that you want for your task, the next step is to actually create a task. To do that, you can go in and actually just click the plus sign at the bottom of any one of these status columns. So just click that plus down there, and that will allow you to add a new task. So the first step is to name your task and then describe your task. The next step is to insert a deadline based on date and time that you want this task completed. The next field is where you indicate how long in hours that this task should last. And the next field is points. These are the points to be earned by the individuals that are assigned to this task. And the points can be used later for recognition or even to give out prizes to members of your company. The next field is priority, and you need to indicate the importance of this project. You can indicate that it's without gravity or without importance, and then the importance level increases from there. So the most important level is extremely severe. So you can choose no importance, a low importance, or a very high importance. For the next field, this is the indicator of what the progress of this task will entail. And if you look at the individual items that you can choose from, you can choose that this project or this task will not change, or you can indicate that it's going to get more difficult as you get into it more. Or you can say it will get less difficult as you get into it more. So you can indicate to the members that are on this task how difficult this will be through the life of this task. The next field is urgency. And in this field, you can indicate if this is a task that can wait, or if it's a little bit urgent or very urgent, needing immediate action. The next field is what project this task is assigned to. And if you click the down arrow, you can choose from any of the projects that you have available in your company. The next field is what status or column do you want to add it to in your Kanban settings. So here it will show you all of the statuses that you have available. And even though you click the plus sign on the planning column, if you made a mistake, here is where you can choose to change it into a different status or a different column. Scrolling down, we have the ability to add a checklist to this task. So all I need to do is click the add button, and then I type in the items that I want for my checklist. So as you can see, I've added 3 checklist items, and these items can be checked off as soon as they're completed for the task. The next step is to add the members that you want as a part of this task that will be completing this task. So when you click the members button, that will show you all of the members that are currently a part of the task. And then you can also add additional members onto your task. You can also add a cover image for this task by clicking add cover, and you can choose an image from your computer and add it into this task. The next item is need revision. If you enable this option, the task will need a review from a manager before it's allowed to be finished by the members of the task. This allows department leaders to make sure they're reviewing each task to ensure they're completed before the task is officially completed in the system. And the next step is to click the Create button at the bottom, and now you've created a new task. Changing the status of the task is super simple. Right now it's in the planning status. If I'm ready to release it to my members and say this is ready to be worked on, I can click and drag it over into the Ready column. Once my members start working on it, they can move it into the In Progress column. And once the members have completed the task, they can click and drag it over into the Completed area. When they complete the task, it will prompt them to list the end, date, and time. Once they put the date and time in there, they click Finish. For every task card, there are some tools there. So the first one is the triple dots. So if we click on that, that gives us more options that we can do with that task. We can edit the task, we can look at the analytics, we can copy the task, we can archive the task and make it available so we can look at it later, or we can actually unarchive it and bring it back into active status. We can delete this task. We can show this task, meaning showing all the information without editing privileges. And we can also create attachments for this task as well. If you'll notice on the task card, we have the due date indicated right on the card, and we also have the avatars of everyone that is included as a member of this task. So remember that we went through the project area to be able to add this task. We can also go directly to the task area, and that's going to list all of the current tasks. You have the ability in this screen to filter by project, to filter by status, to filter by priority, and to filter by member. Also, if you notice at the top here, we have an archived button. If we click that, we can see all of the projects that have been archived and actually choose to take a look at them, review them, but we can also reopen them and bring them back into the active task to be able to rework with a task if we need to. To go back to the task list, all we do is click Tasks. So on the screen to create a new task, all we do is go up to the top to the green button that says Task and click it. And now we have all the same information that we completed in the previous task that we added. So let's complete all of the fields. And so now we have a new task added in the task area. A couple of things that I want to point out. First of all, you've got the triple dots on the card. If you click that, you've got the ability to edit the task, look at the analytics, copy, delete, archive, and create attachments. You also have the due date showing on the card. It also shows the status of this task. The avatars indicate what members are assigned to this task. You've also got a mini toolbar on the bottom right-hand corner of this card. The first item is when you can start the timer for this task. This is a tool that members can use to indicate that they're actively working on the task. So if they click this button, it will actually start a timer, and you can see that there's a pause button. So the timer is actually keeping track of the time that they are in that task and working on it. Once they're finished working on the task, they can go back to this card and click the pause button, and it will actually track how much time they spent on that task. The next item on the mini toolbar is Finish Task. If you click that, that's going to finish the task. You have to put in the date that you finished, and it will show up in the completed status column on the Kanban board. The next item is Kanban. So we can click that and take a look at where this is showing in the Kanban. So it's dropped it into the In Progress category. And remember that members have the ability to click and drag it where they want it to go. So if it needs to go into the planning area, they can click and drag it there. If it needs to go into the completed area or on hold, they can drag it there. So they have the ability to drag it and put it into any status that they want. Remember that if they drag it into the completed status, it's going to ask for a finished date and time. Going back to the task list, if we decide that this task is completed and we want to archive it, we can go to the triple dots and we can go to Archive and then click OK. What that does is it pulls it off of the active task list and throws it into the Archive category. And at any time, if we want to review that task, we can go into the Archive list and it will show that task and the information about the task. We can view it here. And if we want to reactivate it into the active task list, we just click this refresh button and it will pull it out of the archive area and back into the live task area. So if we go back to tasks, we should see that in the task list. Once activity starts for a task, you're going to be able to see some analytics. So if you go to the triple dots and you go to analytics, you're going to see who has been working on that task and how much time they worked. So let's review one more time the two different places that you can add a task. You can go into projects and then add a task from here by going into the Kanban board and then clicking the plus button on the bottom of any of the columns. The next way is to go directly into the task area and click the green plus task button at the top right-hand side of your screen. So that's two ways to add new tasks into projects in Worckie.